Hey everyone, welcome back to Wiseman.tech. In this video, we're gonna talk about different HTTP request types. Client makes an API call to server to fetch the data or maybe to put the data into the server or update the data in the server through network call, that is HTTP network call. Let's understand what are the different request types. Okay, so a lot of people already know there are different request types like GET, POST, PUT and delete. So the objective of this video is to understand the differences between these four. These are the four different request types that are primarily used. Understanding by example is the best way to learn. That's what I believe. So let's understand by an example. So GET is basically fetching existing data which is present in the server or the database. And next comes the POST. So POST is most of the times POST is used for creation of new data. That means there is no data existing for certain user or certain primary key and you want to create data for that primary key, right? Primary key can be anything. It can be user, it can be company data, employee data, flight information or schedule information, anything of that sort. So creation of new data is always POST. And what is PUT? PUT is edit existing data. That means there is always there is a row existing for that primary key or for that user and we want to update the information of that. That means we are replacing the entire row of that for that particular primary key, right? And the last one is delete, which is very easy to understand, deleting the existing row from the database in layman terms. So let's understand with examples. In this case, let's say we are creating a new user, right, of user ID 1345, and let's say user has, let's define the user schema here. We are creating a new row for this user. So that is what this post is doing. And in the next one, let's say we want to retrieve a user with given ID, right? Let's say 1345. Basically we're getting the data of existing user, so we use get here. So in the first one we use post, and third one update a user with given ID. Let's say we want to update date of, obviously we were just in a hypothetical situation. Let's say we want to correct the date of birth. Maybe we have entered the wrong date of birth and we want to correct the date of birth, right? So again here you have to understand this is very important. We are again passing the entire user object here, right? We are not passing only date of birth. I'll come back to that why we are not doing that. Why it is put? Because we are not creating any new data, but we are trying to replace the existing data, right? And last one is delete. Obviously this is going to be very easy to understand. Delete and get are very easy to understand. A lot of people get confused with post and put. That's what we are trying to understand in this video. And deleting basically deletes the entire row, right? Deletes that entire row for the particular user in this case. And now coming to patch, which not many people talk about, but if your interviewer asks what is the difference between patch and put, then you should be knowing that, right? So patch is basically a partial update, right? And put is complete replace, right? Replace or maybe complete update. So the reason we have patch is for the use case wherein you have a use case something like this, wherein you have user and you want to only update date of birth. So in post or rather in put, what we used to do, we used to pass the all parameters. We used to pass ID, name, or rather in patch, what we are doing, we are only passing date of birth and maybe user ID for identifying which user it is. So we are only passing the date of birth and we are not passing name and we are not passing the gender. So this is going to not replace the entire row in the database, but rather goes and replaces only that date of birth attribute. That's what is the main difference between put and patch. Both are used for updating the data, but this will completely replace and this will only do a partial update to existing data. I hope you understood what are the different request types of an HTTP request for an API call between client and server. If you found this video insightful, like it and also subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.